Hi.
Hi. So I think today, we decided to talk about human interaction and the connection that we have with each other and kind of understanding what that is because, I think for me, it's the most important aspect of being human is to nurture our connections and to understand. Once you understand what that is exactly, sometimes you have to let go of certain connections and sometimes you don't and sometimes you nurture it more, so whatever that case may be, but making peace with every interaction that we've had, whether they're people that are going to stay in your life, whether they're people that are not. Some people come and stay, some people come and go, but it's basically being at peace with whatever happens with these energy connections that we make with people. So I think that's, a very important topic for people to understand. So what do you think about it?
Yeah. Um, I don't think I'm experiencing it right now. I'm actually experiencing, and I started experiencing it before quarantine hit. So I can't even blame the quarantine on that, because I experienced the fact that somebody that I knew almost 20 years were kind of like a poison to me, and I was blind, and I had my own what are they called, the pink glasses or lenses or something,
Hmm.
and everybody around you was saying how no, this person is not that great, and this person does not have a good intentions for you, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, you guys great, but I know better. Just
Hmm.
like usually Russians know best. So I was one of them.
Yeah.
And it's basically life had to kind of like hit me harder
Hmm.
to show me that, yo, wake up, it's true, girl. It's not them saying it that just because.
Hmm.
And in reality of it, this person right now is out of my life. I want to say 90% or 95%.
Hmm.
But how hard it is to let it go, and how hard it is to give yourself excuses for how to let it go.
Right.
So, but then at the same token, you know how they say, for many different reasons, that if you're like if you quit the job, one door closes, another opens and stuff.
Right.
That's another topic altogether we're gonna have to cover. But I just experienced that too. It's crazy shit, but
Hmm.
it's beautiful. So with that says, the same thing with relationship. So letting this relationship go, it's not easy to let it go and close the door, but I am closing the door, and I have almost all my feet out. But somebody else that I knew for some time, but we're not close enough, who has substituting it and giving me something that I can actually, I need to be nice about it. Another beautiful soul walked in my life.
Right.
Okay. Another beautiful soul walked in my life for some reasons and stuff, who has energy, willingness to give in, not, not give in, willingness to be the real friend. Let's
Hmm.
put it this way, not just for the check mark. Like majority of us have those, unfortunately. And when people say we're alone in this quarantine thing,
Hmm.
uh, we're not alone. But you have to look around and see who you buy, and really like realize it. So this thing it's been on my mind for like last 2-3 months,
Hmm.
letting it go, one, and realizing what I really had with this person and what I thought it's not what it was, and why this other person coming into my life and fulfilling me with many different other stuff that I can actually feeling good about, and I want to give to that person back
Hmm.
just as much as she's giving in. Does that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Um,
So this
yeah.
topic is, I think it's crucial, and a lot of people going through something like that.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, young, middle age, later age, older age, everybody going through this stuff.
Right. I think a very, very important belief you should hold is that everybody comes into your life to teach you something. There's
Hmm.
anytime you form relationships, there's some kind of a need that you have for that person. That's the reason they stay in your life. But whether it becomes dysfunctional throughout the time or whether other people see it and you don't, there was always a reason for that person to stay in your life, and you have to understand that every person you ever meet is your teacher, whether in a good way or in a bad way. So you've grown and you've evolved because of that interaction that you've had. So I think being able to be grateful for that, whatever it was, is a very, very important thing, because you can sit there and you can write things that this person has taught you, whether it's been through negative interaction or it's been positive interaction, you've learned. So for that, you have to say thank you to that person and say, peace be with you. I am grateful for everything that you taught me. I mean, I've had those experiences as well where, you know, they turned into something completely different. But at the end, I was not sour. I was not pissed. I was not resentful. I was not hostile. Actually, I said, thank you, because you've taught me a lot, and all of them have taught me a lot. So in that way, you clear out your heart. You don't have any negativity. You don't have any hostility towards anyone. And all you have is gratitude and appreciation, and you can wish them well. And that clears your energy, and it makes you a healthier person. You know, I mean, there's so many benefits, of course, to being grateful rather than being hostile and angry. But I think another important thing to understand is that no one's really evil. Everyone has their own intentions. Everyone has their own goals that they're trying to achieve, what their mindset is. So for them, it's a programming that they have, you know, and that's the direction that they're going into, you know, and it's all because, you know, you're attracted to someone at a certain point in your life because you are a certain person, and there's a certain percentage of you that is similar to that other person. And that's the attraction factor. I call it the internal composition. So the internal composition is your thoughts, emotions, which are your beliefs. So that's who you are, and this person has a certain percentage that's similar to yours. So when that comes together, but as you're living life, they might be going in a different direction, and you might be going, I mean, this can be love relationships, this can be friendships, this can be business, it can be anything. They go in a certain direction, you go in a certain direction, and then all of a sudden you can't stand each other, or you go, oh my God, I never noticed that in you. I don't like that, you know. But then at the time when you had similar, you know, internal compositions, you weren't noticing that because there was so much more that you liked about that person. So that's kind of like what happens. So it's you know, it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just an evolving and a growth that we have to go through. So if we can learn to see, you know, our interactions as that, not a negative, not a, you know, if it's a positive, of course, I see everything as a positive. So it's that way you don't build up any hatred towards anyone, any resentment, any ill will towards anyone. It's just like, hey, thanks for the lessons, you know, wish you well, if they need to go. And if they need to stay in your life, then you kind of like readjust the relationship and go, okay, we can maybe see each other once in a while because there's still certain aspects of you that irritate me, but I can take you maybe 2 hours a week. I can take you maybe 2 days a week, or whatever it is, you know? So I think it's just understanding where you are and where that person is. And there's always a possibility and a chance that you may come back together again. Because like I said, our internal composition is continuously and constantly changing based on what we're thinking, what we're feeling, you know?
Yeah. It's just two things I can tell you. Again, it's from experience. It's basically, when you said that you don't feel sour, you don't feel, try not to be negative about this and that. At some point in my life, billion years ago, again, being Russian, we're not the most positive people, just because by culture and stuff like that, how we were raised. But immigrating here, I learned that you can't use or you cannot use another country's kind of like rules and regulations in living in a different country, meaning I can't be following what I was born with and living in Russia and use it in America, because it's two different worlds. Right. And the same thing as saying it is because I'm actually trying to be a positive thinker. Like it took me a few years, but so I look at things very positively. But it's I think it's impossible, not impossible, it's possible, but it's super hard when you are losing somebody and you're losing it because of their actions. But forget about like what people saying is like, sometimes you get over it and you talk about this and blah, blah, blah. But when actions happen, it's much harder to do anything you know, stronger shit. But being positive and looking into all this, I can tell you right now that I'm still sour. I'm sour. I don't hate, God forbid, And actually my new friend that I told you right now, it's the, oh my God, I was laughing my shit off. So check this out. She's like so much like me. I never I don't have a haters and none of that stuff. She's like that too. So one day she was actually having a problem with somebody, and this guy pissed her off, and she said to him, you know what, fine, man, whatever it is that you told me, use it on other different people. But guess what? She said, she's coming. And he's like, who's coming? She turned around, she goes, karma is coming.
No, it's true though. It's people.
I died. I died. It was the funniest thing ever. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we don't need to really wish anything on people, because karma will catch up to these people. But I'm still dealing with the fact that I have to let this go. And first it was really difficult. But again, this little box here is huge, has a lot of force. And so we need to really use it. We need to use it. Because,
and you know, I'm a proponent. I really think that you have to feel the pain, you have to feel the hurt, and you have to feel all those emotions that come up with these connections that we make with people. I mean, they're energetic connections, you know, that form. Specifically, you know, that can be measured. So it's okay to feel that, but you know, go through it fully, cry if you need to, write down, journal, write them a letter that you may not even want to mail out, or whatever you need to do, or mail it out, whatever you feel like is necessary. But let it, release it. But at the end, realize there's a reason why this happened, you know, and it's not a bad thing. And, you know, one of the beliefs that I truly have for myself, that I've actually, like, you know, it's a programming that I've created in my head, is everything is always working out for me. And if this person had to leave my life, it's only because there's someone better coming along. They're just not to my, you know, greater understanding or advantage to be with this person, you know. And if it's a love relationship, because I am single, then I think of it as, you know, they didn't really deserve me at this point. And, you know, it's because there's someone better compatible for me out there. And it's the universe telling me that, you know, I deserve much more happiness. I deserve much more compatibility. So, and I think that can be taken into any kind of relationship, friendship, love relationships, you know, any kind of relationship. So it's really important to understand that what you feel is valid, and, you know, it's okay. Acknowledge it, feel it, just do not reside in that for longer than you need to, you know. Give yourself a day, give yourself 2 days. If you want to give yourself a week, go for it. But that the refractory period should not last too long, because then what you're doing is creating new thinking patterns that in turn create new emotions that becomes your subconscious programming. So you don't want your programming to change because of one person. You don't want to give them that much power, basically, right? To change.
Imagine. Yeah, exactly. But imagine this thing. I just thought about it because I have a cousin of mine. She's super cool, Dudski, as I call her. She's super cool, like always keeps her cool, no matter what. And she recently just shared with me the fact that she has somebody in her life like that, like I mentioned, that she actually realized who this person is for whatever reasons. But guess what? She's in a business with that person. She's a partnering with that person in business. And what can you tell to people like that? What do we do? There's not like the two people. There's like 3-4 people in the business, and this one of this people, she actually sharing business.
Okay.
Then,
well, I think, you know, she has to realize, first of all, that, you know, if there's no way out right now, and she has to deal with this person, there must be some positive aspects to dealing with this person. It can't be all negative. And even though the negative aspects have come out recently, I'm sure, you know, that's why she's feeling the way that she's feeling. But say, okay, I get it. But I'm stuck in this relationship for a period of time right now, and I'm really going to try to find the best way of getting out of it, whether it's a year from now, 6 months from now, or whatever the period is. But okay, there's got to be some positive aspects to this person. So if she can make a list of what the positive aspects are and focus on that rather than the negative aspects, then she'll notice that more. Their energy will change, their interaction will change. So it's where your focus goes. If you focus more on, oh my God, I saw this aspect of them and I really like, how am I going to deal with this person? Then guess what? That's going to expand and that's going to become your interaction with that person. But go, okay, I get it.
No, she's super cute.
Yeah. But so she just has to go, okay, whatever, everybody's got some negative aspect to them. Let me focus on what the positives are, how I can get through this in a way. Then you figure out, your mind figures out maneuvers on how to like deal with that person where it's not a negative interaction every time you see them. And then once your energy changes, trust me.
What about if you feel poison?
What about what?
If she feels poisoning from this person? This person is poisoning her, like
Well, no,
literally. This
okay.
person has no mercy.
Yeah, okay, but you cannot give that much power to anybody. It's only when you.
How do you don't do it? How do you do it?
Well,
How do you do what's the
okay, first of all, a very good, image that you can create for yourself that I used to be a hypnotherapist, so I've taught this to clients, is create like an invisible shield around you and say, whatever's negative cannot come in and harm me because I am not that person. So you can envision anything negative or poisonous that you consider just bouncing off of that shield that you create around you. First of all, energetically, you can create that. But on a mental level, like you can say, nobody has power over me, basically. And if this person is filled with poison, let them be. But I will still manage a way to find the positive aspects that can still, we can still get our business to a better place. So what I'm saying is,
okay.
once you change your energy, you will see how slowly their energy will change too. It will become, you don't have to be best friends if you were, but you will find a way to get through it. And if they say something negative, you'll react in a better way where it'll get them to do what you still need them to do, basically, for the business to move along. So until you figure out a way to dissolve the partnership, the friendship, or whatever it is, but in the meantime, you always have to understand that nobody really can have power over you, first of all, and your mind is capable of figuring out ways to get around any kind of conflict that comes along. So a very important technique is to ask yourself, how do I need to behave? What do I need to say for this to become a peaceful interaction with this person? And once you ask that question, the frontal lobe in your brain goes to work and it figures out ways for you to interact in a certain way where you'll achieve what you need to achieve. So we do.
I think it's a big topic that that probably we're gonna need to cover how to do this and what's the step 1, 2, 3 is, because I think it's people would say, oh, it's so much easier to say than done, because a lot of people have difficulties of doing that because
I
they
get
don't
that.
understand the mechanical part.
Right. Sometimes I say things, they're
So
like, what? Yeah, but the more you practice it, the more you'll see the results. It's a matter of practice and seeing the consequences, seeing the results of what you're practicing. And then you even surprise yourself. That's the whole thing, is like, wow, that worked. And then you want to do it more. So it's, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a much more complex issue that we could go into at a later time. Yeah. So,
but I want to say that, basically when somebody comes into your life, don't push them back, even though you're probably somewhere in the middle of like your life and stuff, and you're thinking that all the friends that I needed to make, it's been made already. Because majority of people have friends from kindergarten, first grade, and college, and so on and so forth. I wasn't so fortunate to experience any of that here, but I think that you really need to let people in, watch them closely, see what it is, take a time, meaning like take whatever you need to take, and don't let them in as close as you want them to, and then just realize what this person is really about, because action speaks louder than words. And then if everything, hopefully everything is good, hopefully this is a good person that you wanted to really kind of like keep in your life and enjoy the company. I think you just have to, with the time, you have to see how it is and just let it in, because life is super interesting. As I get older, I understand more and more how interesting this life is, so we have to kind of like go with it.
I kind of have a different take on when I meet people, but that's just me and the way I see it. I always end up like trusting everybody 100% until they give me a reason not to trust them, because I feel like what you expect is what you get in return. But that's always been my ideology. And it's not that I haven't been surprised negatively. I have, but again, I don't ever want to change that. I want to expect you know, when I meet, I'm not saying everybody, of course, because I have a good sense of understanding who people are when I meet them as well. But if I choose somebody, then I'm like, I expect, you know, that they're going to be great and everything is going to be fine until they give me a reason not to. Then I'm like, oh, okay, that happened. But that's just my mindset. So, but whatever works for people, it's just being able to get over the road bumps when relationships don't go the way that you think or the way that you had planned. So,
Yeah.
you know, and
Well,
finding,
we're gonna hope for the best.
exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
nice chatting as usual.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye.